Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. And today's Yin Yoga theme will be affirmations about inner strength and power. So, inner strength and power. And then we're going to work up to half camel today. Now, I had originally planned a full camel, but I had a heavy back workout yesterday. So, full camel is probably not going to work for me today. So, we'll do half. However, if you have the full camel in your practice, and you would rather do that for the whole time or take a break in between as we switch sides, feel free to do that. Absolutely. All right. So that being said, let's start in a child's pose here. So remember on this first one, and if it would feel good to you to just kind of do some circles here for a moment, you can, and then in the other direction, and you can always cushion the knees as needed. And then on this first one, you can take the knees a little bit more together. You can take them as wide as your mat, somewhere in between. You can always have a prop under here. So for example, if I'm going to use my bolster, you can always have some support under here if you need it. Okay. Arms can be long and forward without any support, or hands by the ankles if your shoulders aren't ready for the extension yet. And I'm just going to kind of ease into this one. But while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and get into my breathing. So I'm zipping up from the pubic bone behind the navel. My belly button is in. I'm expanding that rib cage on my inhale. And I'm engaging the abs a little bit more on the exhale. So when I say expand the rib cage or breathe into the back body, a good visual of that is when you're seeing a medical provider and they've got the stethoscope back there and they tell you to breathe deep so they can hear your lungs. You're breathing into the back body and expanding that rib cage when you do that. So kind of have that visual if that helps you. You can bring in that Ujjayi pranayama here. Body can sink in gradually. I told you that we're doing inner strength and power today. You can always come up with your own affirmations or intention. Good. Now from here, very carefully, lift a little bit. I'm going to walk my hands over to my right. I'm going to lift up just a little bit here, and then I'm going to sink my hip towards the left. I'm going to walk the left hand forward, pressing into that right hand. I'm breathing and expanding. I'll go ahead and give you the first affirmation here. I have survived every negative experience in my lifetime so far. I have survived every negative experience in my lifetime so far. Good. And we'll lift. We'll come back center. You can take a long child's pose here or a little bit more of a roundy one. Do what feels good to your body here. And then once you've reset, I'm going to move my props out of the way here. Good. We will walk those hands over to the left, walking right fingertips forward, lifting the hips, shifting the hips towards the right, pressing into that left hand. Breathe and expand. I have survived every negative experience in my lifetime so far. Good. And we'll come up and we'll come back to center and then we'll come back again. And so just kind of give an example, something about me. So I survived childhood divorce. My parents divorced when I was in seventh and eighth grade. My dad moved out in seventh grade. However, the messiness of that divorce and the bickering continued all the way through, um, probably about my sophomore year in college. So there was never really a break, and there it was constant, constant, constant. And then from here, when you're ready, hands under the shoulders and coming back up. Good. From here, we're going to go into a little bit of cat cows and some thread the needle because I really want us to prepare the spine for that half camel. So again, cushion those knees if you need to, and I actually will do that a little bit now. So I can bring in blanket here. Good. So spreading the fingers nice and wide, rooting through knuckles of pinky, pointer, and thumb. Tops of the feet are down. Knees are under the hips. They can be slightly wider if you've got a back issue. Press that floor away from you. Good. Inhale. Chest forward, pelvis tucks back, cow pose. Exhale, really round and scoop in that belly. Look towards the thighs. Cat pose. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Good. Now from here, if you need to come back, you need to, get off the knees or something like that, shake out the wrists, go ahead and do that. We're going to prepare for thread the needle. And we'll do this as a little bit of a flow just because flowing thread the needle is more fun. So coming back to all fours. Good. I'm going to start with my right arm out. And then I'm going to scoop through and we'll open. I'm pressing that floor away when I'm opening, and I actually get a little bit more of a stretch here when I do that. And we'll scoop, and we'll come up and we'll open. Good. Now this time we're going to scoop, but we're going to take it all the way through. Hips stay over knees. Good. You can move your left hand out a little bit more to the side. So you want to be long here from crown to tail. Ear does not press into the floor. Ear does not press into the floor. If you press it into the floor, you're going to get a kink in the neck and you're going to break that line of energy. Your neck also won't like that over time. Pressing through that left hand, coming back up. Good. Taking that to the other side. Left arm comes up. Good. And we'll scoop through and we'll press away and open and scoop through and press away and open and scoop all the way through. Good. Long line from crown to tail. Use your right hand to help you with that support. Belly button stays in. So I've survived every negative experience in my lifetime so far. I have not only survived, I have thrived. I have not only survived, I have thrived. I never gave up. And from here, pressing through, coming back. Good. Now, if it would feel good to you to get some other little movements here, you can do that. Otherwise, we're going to set up for some side bending here. Now, there's different ways you can do some side bending here depending on what you have. So I'm going to actually demo the real thing on a bolster, but let me show you a few options because not everybody has a bolster or a cushion. So if you've got several folded blankets, you can always stack them, okay? And that can simulate a bolster. And this is especially good if you're a little bit sensitive, a little bit more sensitive in the rib cage and need something not quite as firm, but still give you a little bit more opening. Lying across here like this can certainly give you that, okay? So you've got that option. You've got blocks. Now, if you've got a couple blocks, I recommend kind of stacking them side by side like this. And then covering that with a blanket So it's a little bit more of a softer surface. But same thing, you'll come up against here and you'll side bend over. Okay. Other than that, if you've got a nifty bolster or a sturdy cushion, you can use those. And I'm going to bring in my bolster here. Good. Okay. We're going to do this side bend for 2 minutes for this first one. And it doesn't really matter what side you start with because we're going to do this on both sides. We are going to do a sphinx in between sides, but it doesn't really matter. I just happen to be on my going over into the right side first. So whenever you're ready, good. You want to be all the way up against it as you roll. Oh, something else. If you've got a bolster, but you're a taller person, longer torso person, you can build this up by putting folded blankets on top of it. You can put blocks underneath here if that's something that you need to do too. So, I forget to say that because that is not where my body is. I'm not a tall person. I do not have a long torso. And then you can do whatever feels good to your arms here. I like to take this arm overhead just for a little bit more opening here. But this is a very subtle opening. But the longer you're here, the more that you are open. So I've survived every negative experience in my lifetime so far. I have survived, let me think about it, at least 3 very narcissistic relationships. There is some sexual abuse and emotional abuse in there as well. So I have survived it. And not only did I survive it, I have thrived. I did not let those experiences stop me from success and moving forward. It's a little bit of a setback, yes, but I didn't let those things stop me. We'll probably have a cough coming up here in a minute. There it is. If you need to cough, let your body cough. Remember, nobody can hear you. And I can't hear you, but it's your body getting rid of something it's holding on to release it. The side bend gets into the heart chakra, and we hold a lot there. Oh, I'm holding a whole lot there. Good. Breathe and expand. Tap into your inner strength. Good. And then from here, take that top hand, let that hand and arm assist you as you come back up. Okay, so I'm going to put this bolster to the side, come back to it in a moment. We're going to come into Sphinx. Now, today, my low back, it doesn't need anything like it normally does. So I'm not going to demo this on a folded blanket, but remember, if you need that little bit of support, you can always take that folded blanket. And as you put it on the floor, you want the top part of your hip bone and the edge of this blanket to be in that alignment if you need that and you're using it. So also remember too, if you don't have a whole lot of blankets, bath towels, beach towels, they all work the same, have the same purpose. Good. So I'm going to come belly down. Good. And as I come belly down here, good. I'm just going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle side to side. I want my hips, I want my low back to be a little bit more comfortable. Good. And then from here, I'm going to roll my shoulders back. Good. My elbows are in, my elbows are grounded. I'm pressing my hands down. Good. I'm reaching through the low body. My belly button is in. And thinking about not so much pressing your arms into the floor, but could you float the upper body up a little bit? So your arms are down, but you've got a little bit more lightness in the pose. Shoulders are in their pockets. And notice if that makes it just a little bit more comfortable. So I have not only survived, I have thrived. Another way to look at all of those, I learned from every single one of those experiences. Being a child of divorce, um, and then somewhat unstable mother, I learned the kind of mother I did not want to be. I learned to follow red flags in relationships. So belly button is in, rolling shoulders back. You can always lower down at any time. Good. And then from here, lower down. As you lower, could you find a little bit more length in the upper body as well? Good. Make a little recovery pillow with the hands. And we'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, hands under the shoulders. Good. You're going to press up as you bend back and coming back up. Good. We are going to take the side bend to the other side now. So now I've got my bolster. I'm going to take this onto the left side. So set yourself up the way that you need to set yourself up. Do with your legs and your feet what makes you feel comfortable. And then when you're ready, good, I'm going to take this over. And maybe the top arm comes up and over. So to heal from any hurt, I must feel every emotion that I need to go through. To heal from any hurt, I must feel every emotion that I need to go through. And that can be a hard one, not just to ponder, but to put into practice or to just sit with for a while. Being mindful that feeling every emotion and acting on every emotion are two different things. So I can go through emotion of anger, but that does not mean that I have to throw something or scream and yell at somebody, berate somebody, or anything like that. Breathe and expand. Good. And then from here, good. Your top arm's going to come up. It's going to assist you as you come up from there. All right. I'm going to put this bolster to the side for now. And if you have blocks, you can certainly bring them in on this next one. Pillows, blankets, we're gonna go into, you're gonna have the choice between a high pigeon and a low pigeon. Low pigeon being belly down pigeon. High pigeon meaning you're keeping yourself lifted. So you're a little bit more into some more extension there in the spine. So if you need to cushion or support any tight hips or floating knees, have that support with you close by. Otherwise, I'm just going to start here on my right side. So I'm just going to let my right knee come up here. I'm going to turn my hip and knee out away from the body. That's going to bring my shin and calf at about a 45-degree angle. Good. And then I'm just going to slide back. Now I'm pretty open, so I don't have any space here. I don't need any space. But if this is what you look like, please put something under there. A floating hip is risky hip. And then you can choose to stay up here or to come down. Forearms is okay or coming forward. I'm going to do half and half. These are going to be for 3 minutes. And don't forget to square off the hips a little bit here. If you're up high, relax the shoulders. Belly button is still in here. We talked a little bit about surviving and experiencing. Who or what is your source of inner strength? What do you reach for within yourself when you don't think that you can reach for anything else? What do you reach for when you're about to give up and then don't give up? Good. So I'm slowly making my way down into low pigeon here, belly down pigeon. But you can always stay up high if that's where you went, where you want to go. Remember, in yin, you don't want to come into your max right off the bat. You want to come right before your edge and then let your body sink into it. Now, even though I'm belly down, my belly button is still in here. I'm supporting that back with a strong front. If you experience any pain, numbness, tingling, burning, back off until you no longer feel those sensations. Breathe and expand that rib cage. Different emotions can come up in this one, so notice that you're feeling them on purpose. Release them. You don't have to dwell on them. And then from here, when you're ready, it will carefully come up. Good. I'm just going to undo that leg. We're going to come down here. Little crocodile recovery pose. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Notice the difference between the right and the left side here. Even energetically, I feel a difference between the right and the left side here, not just physically. And then when you're ready, We'll come back up and we'll take that to the other side. Now, so you can see, I'm just gonna turn around here. This side also tends to be my tighter side and my blanket and on the side. So from here, good. I'm gonna let my left knee come up. I'm gonna turn the hip and knee out away from the body. So when I do that, I've got a little bit of a 45-ish degree angle with that shin or the calf. And then I'm gonna sink back here. And I'm a little too tight. I'm not quite there. So I'm gonna kind of fill this in a little bit here. Good. Now, how you fill it in really just kind of depends on your body. It depends on what you have. Depends on how you need to manipulate it to make it feel good for you. You just kind of find what you need. Good. Belly button is in. Now, this next affirmation is also a lot easier said than done. Can also be a hard one to ponder, but I try not to push my feelings down or cover them up. I try not to push my feelings down or cover them up. We live in a society that wants people to buck up, shove it down, feel your emotions, but don't show any emotions. So lots of conflicting information. So a lot of people really hide their struggles from others. And then people are left wondering, well, I never knew that she or he, was going through that, or blah, 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 blah. So try not to push your feelings down or cover them up. I have found that journaling is a fantastic way to get things up and out. You can free write. Stream of thought, stream of consciousness writing. There is prompts that you can do. Breathe and expand. We're still zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Remember to, you can always check yourself to see if you still need a prop. Now I'm a little bit more open now, so I don't need my prop anymore, but some of you still might. Always returning the breath. What's your source of inner strength and power? Holding on to things and letting them fester is not a source of inner strength and power. And then from here, good. I'm going to carefully come up. I'm going to release that leg. I'm going to take that leg behind me, coming back down into a crocodile position here. Wiggle, 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 and recover. And noticing again how right and left side feel. Do they feel more even now? Do they still feel a little bit different? And then when you're ready, good. Hands come under the shoulders. Carefully press yourself back up. Good. And we're going to come to a seat. So we're going to come into caterpillar here. And for caterpillar, I like to sit up on a folded blanket. And you can always bring in props here. So you can have a bolster right on top of the legs if you need that support. Also, nice way to put on the brakes if forward folding too deeply is an issue for you. You can also kind of open the legs a little bit more, let it come in between. So find what you need. Now, if you know, I'm going to get a bit easier. If you know that your hands go beyond the feet here, and you want something a little extra without taking a death grip on the block, you can bring a block in here. Okay, this is the one that I'm going to do today. All right. So last one here before we go to half camel. So from here, and oh, the other thing here too, you can also sometimes get a really not so comfortable hamstring stretch with this one. So support the backs of your knees if you're really tight. So inhale and reach. Exhale, I'm going to lean forward a little bit with a long spine. And then when I can come no more, I'm going to round forward. Now I can touch this block here. As we go on, I'll be able to more comfortably touch the back, but I don't want to force that right now. But I am going to breathe and expand into the rib cage. So I have survived every negative experience of my lifetime so far. I have not only survived, I have thrived. That's my favorite one. I have not only survived, I have thrived. And in order to heal from any hurt, I must feel every emotion that I need to go through. I must feel every emotion that I need to go through. And breathing into the back body. Your body will let you know when it's safe to go a little deeper. I try not to push my feelings down or cover them up. I try not to push my feelings down or cover them up. Fine breath. If you can't breathe well, you're too deep, back off. And then from here, always carefully, carefully, carefully coming out of that camel. If it would feel good to your body right now to do it, just a little bit of a twisty in one direction and a little bit of a twisty in another direction, honor yourself and take that. All right, so here we come, practicing and setting up for half camel. So for this half camel, I am going to also cushion my knees. How much of a knee cushion you may need or not is going to be dependent on your knees in the situation that's going on there. Good. So I'm just going to do a double blanket here. Good. I'm going to reset my timer. So we're going to do this for 1.5 minutes on each side. And not 4 minutes, definitely not 4 minutes. Nobody wants to do that. Even in a half camel, I don't want to do that for 4 minutes. Here we go. Okay. So different options for different people. Good. So I'm going to come up here. Think about hips forward, hips forward, hips forward. Where people tend to fail in this one is because they try to go in camel with their hips back here. No. Hips forward, hips forward, hips forward, hips over the knees, over the knees, over the knees. Okay. Option 1, even though we're doing half camel, you can still have both hands back here, rolling shoulders back. You're going to zip up that front body, hips over the knees, and then you'll come back here. Okay. Half camel. I'll show you here. You can have the foot down or up. I like up because then I don't have as far back to reach. You can grab the heels. You can grab the ankles. It's more comfortable for my joints if I grab the ankles just like this. Some people are more comfortable being back here. It's all about, your body and what you need. Some people that far back is not a good idea, and maybe you use a block. And so you can have a block here. So see how that lifts you up just a little bit. And even then, depending on your situation and what you have, I'm just going to move my blanket a little bit more to the side here so things don't get tangled up. You can even stack a block. So here's your base block. Here's another block, or right here. Okay, so you're even higher now. So if you're trying to get out of being this one, but you're like, oh, I'm not really sure, start here. Start to go here. So now you're a little bit deeper. And then maybe one day you don't need that base block and you can go here or here. And then maybe one day you can be here. Okay, so find what you need. And here we go. I'm going to move this back out of the way. 1.5 minutes. If you're going to go into the full, because that's what you want into your practice, you'll take a break as we switch sides. So from here, good. Hips are coming forward. Hips are coming forward. I'm zipping up. Good. I'm leaning back. Good. I'm going to come left hand to my left ankle. Your right arm can come all the way up to the ceiling. I'm going to take it to my heart today. Good. So taking it to the heart today. Good. So I face my feelings. I sit with them. I learn from them. I grow from them. I face my feelings. I sit with them. I learn from them. I grow from them. Belly button is in. If you feel any crunching whatsoever in the low back, something's not right. Don't stay there. Belly button stays in. Strong front. Supports the back bend in the back. If you don't have to have your hand on your heart, you can always reach it up there. I'm still breathing. Good. I'm going to nod my chin. I'm going to move forward. I'm using my abs to help me come up here. Good. Take a short little child pose here to take a break from that. Whew, that was intense. Now you see why nobody should be doing that for 4 minutes. All right. From here, when you're ready, we'll take that to the other side. So I'm just going to turn around to the side. Good. And then when you're ready, hips forward, hips forward, hips forward. Find the prop that you need as needed as you go into your camel. hand to the heart or up to the ceiling. So remember, I face my feelings, I sit with my feelings, I learn from them, I grow from them. So kind of an example of that is if somebody hurt you, did something to you, you know how that made you feel and it wasn't real great. Remember that, learn from that, and try not to do that to somebody else because you know what that feels like. Breathe. Good. Nodding that chin and coming up very carefully. Find your child's pose. And you can do a nice gentle child's pose here. You can do a roundy child's pose here. Whatever would feel good to your body is the one that I would do. And then when you're ready, good, we're going to come up. We're going to come onto our back. So as we come onto the back, I'm just going to clear my space. If you know that you're going to use certain props or if any in your Shavasana, have those relatively close to you, but also have them out of your way as we will go into a supine twist when we come down here. Now, I'm just going to move this back, move my tea out of the way so it doesn't get filled. Okay. Once you come down here, just take your feet as wide as the mat. Just let the shoulders relax. Find that nice windshield wiper. Good. And as you find that nice windshield wiper, remember we want the belly button to stay in because spine's going into a little bit of rotation here. And then I'm just going to take those knees over towards the left. And I'm just going to relax here for a moment. Now, if this doesn't feel good to you in the low back, the hip, or the knee on the right side, I come out of there. So this is more of a gentle psoas muscle stretch. And when you're ready, we'll come back up center, wiggle, wiggle center. Let those knees come over to the right, making sure everything feels okay on the left side. Left low back, left hip, left knee. And coming back in and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay, let's take a supine twist. We'll do this eagle leg style. So pressing your feet into the floor, pick up your hips. I'm going to shift my hips over to the left. I'm going to cross left leg over right leg. I'm going to let those knees come to the right. Good. Be here for about a minute and a half. Maybe looking to the left. Breathe and expand. Breathe and expand. I find my strength, my inner strength through love. I find my inner strength through love. Expand that rib cage on the inhale. You're in a twist, a rotation. Belly button needs to be in. Always coming back to breath. So from here, head back to center. You can undo the legs first if you need to, or use the abs to bring you back into center. Undo, press into the feet, lift the hips, come back even, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then we'll take that all to the other side. So from here, pressing into the feet, lifting up the hips, shifting the hips over to the right, crossing right leg over left leg, letting those legs drop to the left. Maybe we look to the right. So I find my strength through left. I find my strength through left. Breathe and expand. Good. And then coming back to center, undo the legs first if you need to, or use your abdominals to bring it back in. Undo the leg, press the feet in, hips come back center, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here. And we will set up for Shavasana. So I'm going to bring in my bolster here to go under my legs and a blanket as a nice little neck pillow here. So I'm just going to kind of sit in, settle in, wiggle around, see if you can make yourself about 10% more comfortable. And then I'll leave you with the final thought. I am strong and so very powerful. I am strong and so very powerful. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness, or gently take head and neck from side to side. Maybe a wiggle of the fingers and the toes. Choose stillness, or choosing to take the knees into the chest, keeping upper body grounded, or maybe lifting it up into a full body hug. You choose. And choosing stillness, or moving any props out of the way that you may have used during your Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex through feet, bend and stretch through the hands, rolling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over to your right or left side, the side that works best for you, taking all the time that you need here. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. And once you find that comfortable seat, notice for a moment how you feel. Ears, shoulders, and hips in alignment. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Looking up at those hands. Exhale, hands and heart center. Coming back to those affirmations of inner strength and power. One more time. We'll take those thumbs to the forehead for good and true thoughts. To our lip for good and kind words. And to our heart for open and loving heart. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted. No gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. May you have a wonderful evening, daytime, whatever time it is for you, and weekend ahead. Namaste.